I think it works if I hit the button in order for me to know that it's live and I am talking to you guys. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another. Please excuse the my. I honestly I dropped my camera before the show, and now this is what you're getting. A little lopsided, but welcome to the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the JCA, under the John Konavi Facebook page, and also the Star Six Media brand. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, and all our social media platforms that are available for you guys for the gratis. We're back after a good 2-3 weeks hiatus. Try to do a little brand switching up here and there. So this is why we've been out, and we missed out on a lot. NBA Finals are on right now, right? There's a lot and tons of Bears news out there too as well. Stadium problems, schedule releases out, and we're going to give you guys 2, maybe 3 weeks. No, Caesar, I'm not. I am not. I'm good. I'm focused now. We're all in good control. I'm great. Thank you for checking up on him. But thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome back. And there goes Sergi says, "Hi, bro, Sergi. What's up, Sergio? Mr. Freddy over there. What's going on? Hey, we're back. We're live. But yes, we're doing this back. I'm back. We're back. I think we're back. Hopefully the guys will join me a little later. But right now, I am riding solo dolo at the moment. If you guys want to jump in at any time, the link is right here for you guys to hop on, say what's up, give me your thoughts. As we're gonna go over the schedule, we're gonna go over NBA Finals. We're going to go over MVP odds for, like, I know I'm going over all over the place. We're going baseball. We're going everywhere. And I'm coming up with a new segment. It's going to be called the Toast of the Night. Before the show ends, I'm going to give a toast to a random player, random person, random somebody. It doesn't matter who it is that I'm going to give a toast to for whatever they are doing in the sports world. Let's get right into this, guys. A lot to talk about. Let's do this, right? I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but we're gonna do it. Here's the first question of the night, guys. The Bears schedule's out. What is your early season predictions on wins and losses for the Chicago Bears? The schedule came out a couple weeks ago, and we're gonna get right into it. And they start off no other than can you call it a prime time? Is it really a prime time? I mean, because it's gonna be an America's game of the week on Fox, right? It's the only reason why they put this game at this time at 3:25 for the Bears and the Green Bay Packers for Week 1. I mean, there's no possible way. I mean, okay, it's not prime time. It's not on NBC. It's not on It's not on NBC. It's not on ESPN Monday Night Football. It's definitely not on Amazon Prime for Thursday. But I mean, is it borderline? Is it a borderline? Prime time game for the Bears against the Packers Week 1. And it's going to be an interesting one too as well, because it's finally going to be the first time that the Bears and Packers are playing without Aaron Rodgers, or the Packers are playing without Aaron Rodgers and or Brett Favre. Tell him I said hi. I thought I said hi. Tell him I said hi. Tell Sergio I said what's up. Hope he's doing well. Hope everybody's doing great on his side of the family. And yeah, tell him drink a few. Maybe not. Maybe later. Who knows? Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, the Bears Packers. It's weird. First time the Packers are gonna have no Favre, no Aaron Rodgers in this. I feel in this particular matchup for the first time starter for the first time legitimate start, I guess you can say, as a starter for the season for Jordan Love. Now I know we had our debates back in the day with the guys here that Jordan Love is, without a doubt, he is the last rated quarterback in our division, right? And we went in through lanes, and I think this one's a little bit easy to actually talk about and actually say, yeah, for real, yeah, this is probably the only time we're going to say that the Packers finally have a weak quarterback in the division, because we don't know anything about Jordan Love and what he can do, right? We know a lot about Kirk Cousins. We know a lot about Justin Fields. We know a lot about Jared Goff. We don't know anything about Jordan Love. So this what makes it a little bit interesting for the Packers, to where, yes, I get it. It could be either way. It could be the worst season. Jordan Love just signed a new contract where he could probably be gone by the end of the year anyways if he plays bad, which is great. Josh already says right here that the Bears are going to be in the playoffs for sure. High praise there. And so it's going to be difficult for us to actually grade the Green Bay Packers on a. I mean, we're just saying this about the Green Bay Packers simply because, well, I mean, first of all, we hate the Packers, right? We, I mean, that's a given right there. You know, we don't give enough credit to the Green Bay Packers even when Rodgers and Brett Favre were still there. But now that they're not there, I think we're giving them even less credit for that. That Jordan Love is going to be the starter for the Green Bay Packers for now until the foreseeable future. And that's because we just don't know anything about it. Everything else that comes with the NFC North, especially with the upgrades that the Bears have done over the offseason, along with the minor tinkering from the Vikings and the Lions too as well, it's going to be a division where it's up for grabs. And you can finally say this weirdly enough that the NFC North is up for grabs simply because Aaron Rodgers left the building. Aaron Rodgers is no longer part of the Green Bay Packers, to now where the Lions are now the favorite and is probably everybody's favorite in the NFC and all of football and across the United States, that the Detroit Lions are the favorites to take this division simply because of how they performed last year, from the slow start to how they finished and missing the playoffs by one game because of the Seattle Seahawks. Um, it's going to be an interesting division for sure. That it could either be one of the toughest divisions, it could be one of the boringest divisions, or right dab in the middle. It's where it's like mediocrity plays at its finest simply because of the talent and the team plays that are both the Packers, or not the Packers, that are the Lions, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Vikings, Lions, Bears, and Packers. I'm trying to fit everybody at once here. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a W for the Chicago Bears in Week 1 against the Green Bay Packers, especially that it's at home. That's where I give the Bears a little bit of credit for this one. We know that the Bears need defensive line help, but just like last year when the newcomer and Trey Lance came into Soldier Field in a monsoon, let's take that out. Let's put that out there, right? They came in torrential downpours. It was a bad game. Trey Lance looked good within 40 and 40. No, 35 and 35. But after that, they couldn't capitalize. Justin Fields off a fluke play, running around, creating something where he could create. To Pettis scoring the touchdown to give the Bears the control and the lead and the win for the Chicago Bears in Week 1 is a good reason for it. Why I feel like the Bears in Week 1 at home can defeat the Packers, and the Packer teams, like I said, we don't know who the Green Bay Packers are at the moment because of the quarterback that is no longer in the NFC in Aaron Rodgers. As for week two gets, again, it's a little bit easier, right? The Bears are on the road in Tampa against the Buccaneers, which to me, I personally feel that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can possibly be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Granted, given the weapons that they might still have. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we don't know. Again, Tom Brady is gone, another quarterback that is no longer part of the organization because he retired. Uh, Josh goes on. He said, "Definitely looking good season," and the Bears punched their ticket to the playoffs. That's a good one. I mean, hey, hopefully you and everybody else can enjoy and are on board with that one, Josh. Because I don't want to say yes, but I also at the same time I do not want to say no either. So I'll give you guys my one schedule right now. So yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield is the quarterback. We know what Baker Mayfield is. We know he has spurts. We know he has long spurts of not really being a good quarterback. So I can see this being a difficult trip for the Chicago Bears simply because they're going down in middle September, which can still be hot and humid, and possibly having a tough time. Like you saw the Bills last year against the Dolphins, how early they played in the season and how hot it was and how draining it was and how fatigued both teams actually, but mainly more the Buffalo Bills, simply because the way how that stadium is built in Miami, where the sun is only on the opponent's side. It was just that's how it was strictly built, and the Dolphins are in the shade. But you could tell, the Dolphins were gassed, and that humidity down in Florida, it's no joke. I mean, what people have been telling me that the humidity down in Florida is no joke. And so it's one of those games to where you can see the Bears kind of struggle early in the season. It's like one of those fluky games early in the season where the Bears could probably stumble their way simply because of the conditions down in Florida. And you can see the Bears probably go off and maybe possibly get an L in this in this early of the season where they could be 1-1. And that's not a big issue because it's it's how your schedule is built. It's how and it's where you're playing your schedule in early in the season, right? And I'm gonna get into that a little later because it also affects the Chicago Bears late in the season too, as well. What I'm saying, um, the to me, the Chicago Bears have a difficult, very difficult road schedule this season, to where I kind of question it just a tad, a little bit on how the Bears can possibly, can be or what the record is going to be later in the season. But given that, um, I my bias, right? Like I said, the Buccaneers can possibly be one of the worst teams in the NFL, right? And they can possibly be that team. I'm still going to give the Bears the benefit of the doubt here. I think they have just enough players, um, just enough talent on the quarterback side, especially on the quarterback side, for the Bears to come up and get a victory in here and come out being 2-0 this early in the season. I could definitely see it. I can I can see the Bears starting off strong. The first two games of the season, simply because the opponents are not up to par, and especially this early in the season where the teams only get three preseason games. They get a little bit more training off of the OTAs and training camp and mini camp and whatnot. But we know, and we all say it, that the first four games of the season are still kind of like a mini preseason because you still need to get acclimated with the playbook, with the players still trying to get a better understanding, especially the ones that are newly built, which is the Chicago Bears, right? I won't. I'm saying two. I'm saying 2-0. I wouldn't be surprised if they be 1-1 after the Buccaneers game, simply because of the conditions that are down in Tampa Bay. But for sure, if the Bears don't lose against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the second game of the season, I could definitely see their first game of the season, their first loss of the season in Arrowhead against Kansas City. Look, I don't care if it's the first four games of the season, the middle four games of the season, or the last four games of the season. It doesn't matter. When you play this team, 9 times out of 10, you are going to be an underdog in these games. You are going to be um you're going to be at a disadvantage. You're it's the defending champs. It's the it's the Kansas City Chiefs. What is else there to say? Patrick Mahomes, the Bears could have got him right. I still believe, and this is I'm not I know what Patrick Mahomes is today, but I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes will still be that same quarterback if he was the Bears quarterback today. I think he said it himself, and I think it was in LeBron James's podcast or show on HBO, The Barbershop. He did say that having that season where he sat down and read the game and paid attention and did all that, he did say that that did help him out. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt there. He will not be the same guy that he was today if it wasn't, him sitting out the season. So maybe, just maybe. But again, the Bears did pass up Patrick Mahomes. We see what he is now: highest paid quarterback, two-time Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl MVP, and MVP of the league too as well. Like, the Bears missed out on that type of player. But again, different circumstances. I believe, we may have seen probably half, if not, hell, half of Patrick Mahomes would have probably still been better than what we got today, right? Or what we got at that time. John's boy, Mitchell Trubisky, uh, it would have been better than that. So again, the Bears missed out on that. But back to this conversation, this is where the Bears, if they don't lose in Tampa against the Buccaneers in week 2, they're definitely going to lose this game at Arrowhead. Again, another 325 start. Again, probably another America Games of the Week. I want to know what you guys think. Is America Games of the Week in Fox, right? Because obviously those mid-afternoon games where you're either on the East Coast or you're here in the Midwest. But obviously, if you're on the West Coast, those are probably your only noon o'clock, your noon clock start times, right? Obviously, they play at 1, but those are your noon games there. Those are our 12 o'clock games here. So Is it really prime time? Is it a prime time matchup? Obviously, we promote it as America's game of the week simply because the Midwest and the East Coast has the earlier games. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on that one. But again, the Bears. If again, I see them losing against the Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, I have them 2-1. Don't be surprised if it's the opposite. If they're 1-2 at the end because of the first game against the games against the Buccaneers, the first road game. Mind you, their road schedule is tough, guys. I'm saying this loud and clear right now. Their road schedule is tough. This is where it gets a little bit difficult for the Chicago Bears. Now the Broncos at home. You give me the Broncos from last year, I give the Bears a win with their upgrades, with all this and all that. I give that to them, right? But I do believe that the Broncos probably got the fifth best free agent. Well, not really free agent because they had to trade away from him, right? But they did get like the fifth best coach, or they got better on the head coaching side, right? Try to compare it as a player wise, but I don't think I can because of what they traded for. But they did get him, and he wasn't really coaching, so kind of was a free agent, even though they traded something away from him. But that doesn't matter. Sean Payton to the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson and the amount of players that they have on that team is a team that I believe that we're supposed to be last year, right? This Broncos team this year with Sean Payton is going to be a scary team to watch, especially in the AFC West when you have Patrick Mahomes, when you play him twice a year, where you play Justin Herbert twice a year, and whatever you get out of the Las Vegas Raiders, who probably come last in that division simply because they have no quarterback, right? They have no quarterback in that division or in that team. It's still tough. The Chargers are no joke. With Justin Herbert, you give them a shot, especially on what they have on the offensive side with Keenan Allen. I think Eckler's still their running back, and I forget who else they have. That's pretty good. And obviously you have the Kansas City Chiefs, where you play twice a year too as well. So the Denver Broncos are going to be no joke. The only upside about this one is it's here in Chicago, and it's a 12 o'clock start. And this is where I find it difficult because of Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, and that Broncos team. I mean, it's a decent, legit team for the Denver Broncos to come in here and definitely ruin a game here for the Chicago Bears. Now, again, I have them 2-1 at this point. I can definitely see the Bears dropping this one. I think there's 3 games in this schedule, 3 games in this schedule for the Bears where I'm on the fence. I'm 50-50, and this is one of them. The Broncos here against the Chicago Bears. And the only reason why I'm on that is because of Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. Now, everybody can say Russell Wilson is washed because of last year, yada, yada, yada. I get that, but when you go from whatever the guy, Nathaniel Hackett, to Sean Payton, that's a big difference right there, guys. That's a Hall of Fame head coach that knows what he's done. A future Hall of Famer / Super Bowl winning head coach in Sean Payton. I can see the Bears being 2-2 at this point. Dropping this one to the Broncos. Again, I'm 50-50 on this one. This one's another one that I'm 50-50. The Buccaneers, I'm not that 50-50 how I described it earlier. This one I am a little bit more. I could see the Bears being 2-2 at this point, heading into the Thursday night game against the Washington Commanders. And then I feel the Bears could get right back on track on this one. I definitely do believe that defensive front though for the Commanders though is going to be pretty tough, and there's going to be a true testament for the Chicago Bears to actually see if they could keep Justin Fields upright in this newly developed offensive line of the Chicago Bears to protect Justin Fields and see what they got on a very short week heading from Chicago to Washington. It's not that big of a difference. It's not that big of a drive, but on a short week going on the road like that, this is where it's a little complicated for the Bears, but the Bears have enough offensively so far in my book, so far this early in the season, to believe and to think that the Bears can actually pull this off and get the W in Washington. And the Bears are 3-2 at this point. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the John Coravi Facebook page, and also the Star 6 Media Production. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Instagram and TikTok too as well under the Star Six Media brand, where we give you guys and provide you guys all our sports topics of the week. We're getting back right at it. There's more shows on the Star Six Media. I'm gonna promote it a little later on the show. Make sure you guys follow us, like us, and hit the little bell to get notified when all of our shows are live, including the JCA Sports Podcast. Back to the Bears schedule, guys. I want to know what you guys think. What are your early predictions for the Chicago Bears? What's your win-loss record? Where do you see the Bears this year? Josh said their Bears are making the playoffs for sure. That's what my boy Josh says right there. The Chicago Bears are the Bears for sure. Playoffs. He's calling it playoffs. So yeah, we'll see. That's it's you're sounding like me last year. I feel like I'm a little laid back this year, right? I'm a little chill, a little laid back about the Bears schedule, even though they upgraded offensively, but it's the defensive side of the ball for me that's me right there. Uh, so uh, after the mini bye week, right? After the Commanders game, the Bears, I believe, are going to be 3-2 at this point. They come back home against the Vikings here. I do believe the Minnesota Vikings are going to take a step back this year. I strongly believe that we're finally going to see the last hoorah of the Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins in the purple and gold uniform. I believe the Bears. I want to say the Bears are going to split this series. If there's a series that the Bears do come up sweeping, I believe it's going to be, and I think it's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think it's going to be the Green Bay Packers. I think the Packers at home are going to be tough, especially how late in the year they do play. The Packers, the first game of the season and last game of the season, I think it's going to be difficult for the Bears to go in Lambeau that late in January or late in the season in January to get a W in Green Bay. But if there's a team in this division, in this conference, and in this division, should I say, I think for a sweep, it's the Minnesota Vikings. I do believe they come back down to earth. And I'm only saying this in the hope and the belief that the Bears somehow, some way, find a defensive line help, somebody to rush the quarterback. Right now, this is our way too early predictions. Caesar says they're definitely going to go in the division 4-2, which is not bad. That's it's not bad. You're sweeping somebody for you to get to be 4-2. You're sweeping somebody, whether if it's the Lions, whether if it's the Packers, whether it's the Vikings. For you to be 4-2, you're sweeping the team. But I and again, I'm saying this with no defensive line help for the Chicago Bears. Once they do get that, if they do get that position figure it out, my records do change a little bit. I think my 50-50 games, like I said, my first 50-50 game is the Broncos here, where I have them losing. I can see the Bears coming back with back-to-back victories, possibly back-to-back victories against the Minnesota Vikings and against the Las Vegas Raiders here in Chicago, where you get back-to-back home games. With the Raiders having their quarterback issues this early and not knowing who's going to be the quarterback gives me the little bit more advantage of the Chicago Bears coming up with a victory, because we don't know who is going to be the quarterback. Garoppolo was supposed to be that guy. Apparently he's not ready. He's still hurt. Caesar agrees with me too as well. He believes that the Vikings will be the team that they'll sweep in the division. And I can see the Bears, right here, 3 straight wins after being 2-2. First 4 games, 2-2. If you want to look at this by quarters, first quarter, second quarter, like football, whatever, by games, 4 games. The Vikings, they have an easier schedule in this route where they go to Washington, where they play here against the Minnesota Vikings, and they play against here the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's 3 straight wins. So when they go back on the road on a Sunday night game, I hope and pray I don't work at 3:30 in the morning for this one, because I do want to see this game live and actually stay up and watch it. But the Los Angeles Chargers, they go on the road, and this is where the Bears finally getting another L in their record, right? I have them at 5-3 at this point right now. Too much team. I think too much Justin Herbert. It's going to be an interesting matchup. The battles of the Justins between Justin Fields and Justin Herbert, what offense is going to be up to par? Again, this is where I am, and most of my conversations and most of my talks for this early prediction for my season is the fact that the Bears don't have that pass rusher to get to the quarterback or those players. And in a game like this, you need pass rush. I mean, you need to get to the quarterback because if you're going to give Justin Herbert, you're going to get blown out. You're going this is not going anywhere, and it's going to be. And I don't want to go into this game, or I don't want to have this feeling going into the Sunday night game against the Chargers, where the Bears are 5-2 at this point, where you can really say they really haven't really beaten anybody, depending if the schedule goes the way how it's going, how or the record goes, how I feel like the record is going to go because of the schedule. I don't want to come to this game and realize like, oh, the Bears can't be in real games because of this situation, right? And that's the Bears cannot rush the passer, can't rush the quarterback. And with all that being said, you know, it's one of those situations to where it's true. It has to be true, and it needs to be said out loud that no matter all the offensive um all the offensive move that the Bears made this offseason, drafting Darnell Wright, getting DJ Moore in the trade, getting Tunyon as your tight end, as your backup tight, making moves left and right, getting Nate Davis as your lineman too as well. Like all of this looks fine and sweet, and it's gonna say like, hey, Justin, we're giving you the tools, bro. We are giving you the opportunity to succeed. We are giving you the formula to win. We got you a number one wide receiver along with your boy Darnell Mooney, along with Cole Kmet, who the second half or the latter half of the season, showed out that he can ball, that he can play, that he can be that tight end because that was his guy going to the tight ends. Trust me, I had him on fantasy football last year and Cole Kmet towards the very end. He helped me win some games tail end of the season. And plus, you traded Chase Claypool, who at this point in his career needs to get that opportunity to um to prove himself that he can be a reliable wide receiver. You have decent name, like everybody has fallen in line for Justin Fields. Like Darnell Mooney could be that 2-3. That's fine. Chase Claypool can be and looks to be a 2 to a 1, but you got your number one in DJ Moore. You have your number one tight end in Cole Kmet. Plus, you have another reliable backup in Tunyon, or even possible starter in Robert Tunyon that can help you in the passing game too as well. And all that sounds great for the Chicago Bears, but what about defensively? Where's your pass rush going to come from? I mean, you got Dexter from Florida in the second round, but like it still feels like it's not going to be enough for the Bears to like, okay, who's going to come off the edge, right? And this is where I don't want to come into this game with this same question that I have June 7th when on October the 29th, 2 days before Halloween, I'm still asking the same question and who's rushing the quarterback at this point. Caesar agrees with me too as well right here. He says, depending on how our defense looks, the Chargers game is going to be a good one. Exactly. But even with all that being said, it could only be good if the Bears upgrade on the defensive line front. That's it. But I don't want to go into this game on March 10th. March 10th. I don't want to go into this game October 29th and say that this game is not going to be as close. Primetime game. Chargers is a better offensive team. Bears can't find a pass rush. I won't be surprised if the Bears lose by double-digit points if this though continues. And if this is the topic of conversation that we're going to have up until this game, then guess what? The Bears are going to have more losses on this record or on this schedule than they are going to have wins. But this is a game, no matter what, I still feel if they do upgrade, still going to lose because the Chargers are a pretty good team, are a pretty decent team, and I can see them making some noise in the AFC West. Going down our latter half of the schedule now, I'm talking about that man. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Again, the schedule gets a little bit light from here after this Chargers game, right? Um, I only say it looks light But if I'm really being honest, if I'm really being honest with you guys right here, I think the Bears find back-to-back losses, because even though the Bears offensively upgraded, again, going down with that defensive front in St. Louis, I mean in St. Louis, in New Orleans, I think the Saints can pull off this win too as well. The Bears could go back to back, and the Bears, I can see them being 5-4 at this point of the season, going down to the Saints, which is going to be my pick to come out off the NFC South. I can see them go down to New Orleans and actually lose this game, not because Derek Carr is a world beater, not because of everything else that's surrounding the Saints. Right, it's the Saints, and just like the NFC South, is going to be a toss up. And the only reason why they're a toss up because just like the North is, the NFC North, the NFC South is super wide open. It is as wide open as it can be. And it's one of those where it's like, well, you got to pick the best out of the worst, right? And just by default, because of the quarterback situation that the New Orleans Saints has in Derek Carr, better than Baker Mayfield, better than the rookie Bryce Young, and who else am I missing? The Falcons and their quarterback situation. Is it still Marcus Mariota? I think it's still Marcus Mariota. But even then, the Falcons, they made some noise. It made noise last year. They ended up on a good run. Still, Marcus Mariota is your quarterback. It's Derek Carr and the Saints division in the NFC South to lose. If they don't come out winners in this NFC South, they ended up losing it. Even though the Falcons have the best running game in all of football, they drafted B.J. Robinson out of Texas, who was the number one running back in that one. They were the number one rushing team last year, or in top 5 and top 3 in rushing last year, and they got the best running back to go along with it. So, like, what the hell? If you don't stop the run, I guess you could beat the Falcons, right? But in this one, going down to New Orleans and the Saints, I can see the Bears losing this one, being 5-4 at this point. Just because, again, the road schedule is difficult. This is a difficult matchup, even especially in the Superdome. Remember, the last time that the Bears were there, they lost in the playoff game with Mitchell Trubisky as your quarterback in that game. If it wasn't for Javon Williams, the Bears would have lost by less points. But yeah, this is a difficult situation. This is going to be a difficult game going down New Orleans. I can see it go either way. Again, this is another game on the schedule where I'm 50-50. Right? This is my second game on the schedule where I'm 50-50 because of the situation, because of the Bears going down to St. Louis, because why do I say St. Louis, to New Orleans, because of the situation that the Bears having no defensive pass rush, that I can see this game 50-50, because with everything that I said about the NFC South being so weak and it being Derek Carr and the Saints, the Bears have that much offensive power to push through and come out with a victory in this one. This is another game on the schedule where I'm 50-50 in this point. I can see it go either way, right? But just giving the dynamics and how the Bears are looking right now, I'm edging more of a Bears loss than a Bears win. Anything could change within the next, right before the season start again. But I got the Bears right now at 5-4. Again, given another situation, give it different. It may change. It may switch. Who knows? The Bears going back on the winning side, coming back at home on a short week again. Thursday Night Football against the Panthers, which is a huge game for the Chicago Bears. And the only reason why I say it's huge because at this point of the season, in mid-November, you're looking at not just only the Bears and where they're at standing-wise and draft-wise, but also you're looking at the Carolina Panthers, because remember, they traded DJ Moore to us. They gave us DJ Moore. They gave us their first-round pick for next year's draft. So this year, we're rooting for two teams. We're rooting for one team, obviously the Chicago Bears, and we're also keeping an eye on the Carolina Panthers and what they do with Bryce Young. The Panthers gave us a lump sum to get Bryce Young as their quarterback. They gave us DJ Moore. They gave us their first-round pick for next year. We're keeping an eye on the Panthers on where they are in the win-loss column, seeing where are we drafting for next year's draft. And this game is important where, again, the Bears can and will come up with a victory right here on the 19th of November on the Thursday Night Football. Their second Thursday Night Football. Remember, now the new rules are going to give the Bears 2 Thursday night games. So we're seeing the Bears playing 2 Thursday nights, and this is the second one against the Panthers here at home. and it's an interesting one. I give the Bears the victory on here, giving them 6-4 at this point of the season. Back on the loss column because I do feel like they're going to split against the Lions. They're going to split the home and home series. Um, Even though a lot of people are giving it the opposite, they're saying that the Bears are going to win on the road and the Lions are coming here on the road too as well. I don't think that's going to happen. I think control climate, the Lions, who is everybody's favorite. I don't know. I still haven't seen the Lions schedule yet and how it's made. I don't believe in that much of the hype of the Detroit Lions. But that's just me knowing and understanding this division. Even though last year they ended up the season very, very well, they miss to me they missed their opportunity of being in the playoffs and having that playoff spark was last year, right? That slow start. I think they started 0-5 or 0-4 or something like that. You know, held them back to making the playoffs last year. I don't see I see the hype and I understand the hype on the Lions and it being the NFC North being so wide open. I understand the hype. I don't get it. The Lions are still going to be the Lions until proven otherwise. Until I see it this early in the season before the first game on November 19th. I'm sorry, November 9th, which is my sister's birthday, by the way, where the Panthers coming here into Chicago. I said the 19th is actually the 9th. Where they play the Panthers. 10 days later, they play the Lions on the road. This is where I see the Bears losing back to 6-5. This is why I say that the Bears can sweep the Vikings, because when they play the Vikings again, it will be on the Monday night after Thanksgiving on a Monday night football game, and Kirk Cousins sucks on prime time games. So this is why me believing that the Bears can sweep the Vikings and probably be the only team that they sweep is the Minnesota Vikings is for this reason and this reason only. That the Minnesota Vikings and the Bears play on a Monday night football game, which is going to be great to see, because if the record is going to be showing the Minnesota Vikings are going to be at mid, because like I said, I feel like they're going to take a step back, and the Bears being 6-5 at this point, this can have NFC North playoffs implications this late in the season, which is what you want to see. This is where again, the Bears go to Minnesota and take a W in my book, in my eyes, where I have them right now at 7-5. And now the Bears are going to go and get back-to-back wins, which make them at 8-5 for the Chicago Bears against the Lions, where they played 3 straight divisional matchups. So I can see the Bears going 2-1, losing against the Lions at home, or losing against the Lions on the road, beating the Vikings on the road, sweeping the Vikings, and also beating the Lions and tying up the series 1-1. As for my last 50-50 matchup of the year for the Chicago Bears, you guys are watching the John Conavi, the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and on TikTok. Make sure you guys hit the little bell to get notified when our shows are live, including my podcast and my soccer podcast, and also our other podcasts under the Star 6 Media brand. Now, if you guys missed it earlier, if you guys are coming into the program, I just want to know what you guys think for your Bears predictions. What is your Bears early prediction thoughts? What is your record so far this early in the season? I want to know what you guys think. Where are they going to be? Right now, I have the Bears at 8-6 this late in the season as I'm going into Cleveland. And the reason why, again, and I said I had 3 50-50 matchups this year. First one's against the Broncos here. The second one is against New Orleans in New Orleans. And this is my third one. And the only reason why I say 50-50 is because of the quarterback matchup and depending on what Deshaun Watson we're going to see. This one doesn't really imply, well, it still implies that the Chicago Bears, because the defensive front is why I'm leaning towards the 50-50. But also at the same time, it gives me, I want to see what the Cleveland Browns are with Deshaun Watson. Can he take that next step after being away from football for 2 years, after playing the way he played last year, looking kind of at best, but now with a whole season in his belt, whole off season, new team, the Browns kind of upgrading on offense just a tad bit. And if we get to the Deshaun Watson that we saw in Houston, I won't be surprised if somehow, some way, the Cleveland Browns make the playoffs. I won't. I won't. Is it too hard of a task? Yeah, of course, because you got the Bengals in your division. You have the Ravens in your division with Lamar Jackson, and obviously Burrow in Cincinnati. You had the Steelers in their situation. Mike Tomlin is not going to make things a lot easier for you guys. Just remember that Mike Tomlin is in that division. Deshaun Watson is a wild card. He is a wild card, and depending how the Cleveland Browns are in this situation, I can see if it's the same Deshaun Watson that I saw back in Texas, where he took the Texans to back playoffs and had these amazing numbers and stuff like that. I could kind of see it. I'm taking a step back, but in other words, why I see it 50-50 is because of that. The Bears still haven't addressed the defensive line. They still don't have nobody to pass rush the quarterback. And I'm still asking the same question this late in the season, literally days before Christmas on December 12th, which is a game to be determined, that depending on the situation, it may be on a Saturday, it may be Sunday Night Football, it may be America's Game of the Week. Who knows? If the Bears are the way how I have them at 8-6, heading against the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns are right there in the playoff, I could see this be a Sunday night game where it gets a little bit interesting. But again, I put it in a 50-50 matchup, or 50. I put it at 50-50 because I don't know what the Bears are going to be like on the defensive front. I don't know if they're going to rush the quarterback. I don't know, because these questions still haven't been answered for our beloved Chicago Bears, because they haven't adjusted yet. And me having them at 8-6 with no defensive rush, no pressure on the quarterback. Get it? Call it what you is, biased as it can be. This is how much I believe in Justin Fields and in this offense. That maybe the defensive woes can be softened a little bit if Justin Fields can provide the Bears in a good season offensive wise, where maybe this defense could be a bend don't break, even though they don't rush the quarterback. But I don't know. But rushing the quarterback is a big thing because it helps out the secondary, helps out your linebackers, helps out on the running game. It helps out on a lot. But this is a game that I have 50-50 simply because of everything that I said. Deshaun Watson, I don't know what the Cleveland Browns are going to be. If it's the Deshaun Watson of Houston Texans or the Deshaun Watson last year when he's coming back from his suspension, I don't know. I don't know. But at the moment, as much as I'm putting all this, and this is my early predictions for the NFL for the Bears season so far this year, I'm giving the Bears the benefit of the doubt in this one, and well, not benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry. I'm giving the Browns the benefit of the doubt in this one, and I can see the Bears going to Cleveland and losing this one, simply because late in the season, if you can't rush the quarterback, which is going to be vital, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on the Bears to make some noise, and I can see them going down to Cleveland for now, and losing the game. And right now, I have them at 8-6, 8-7 at this point, right? This is where it gets interesting in my book, right? I have them at 8-7. I got them winning the next two games at 10, at 7. The Cardinals are coming here, West Coast team, indoor team, coming out west in the cold, in quote unquote bear weather, on Christmas Eve, right? I can see them coming here, having struggle. Kyle Murray with them tiny little hands. I can see, and everything that's going on in the Cardinals. I can see this is an easy win for the Bears. I'm calling it an easy win. Sorry, Mario. I know you're a Cardinals fan, bro, and I know you're enjoying yourself out in Arizona right now at the moment. But I don't see the Cardinals being a threat in the NFC West, and honestly, the whole entire NFC. I don't. And this is going to be, no matter if the Bears pass rush situation is good or not, this is a W for the Chicago Bears simply because of a team that's coming out west, 2 time zones different, coming in the cold weather, being an indoor team, having a quarterback that may or may not may or may not have played in the cold. Don't know, but hasn't really been proven that he's been a decent quarterback at all, even indoors, anyways. So with all that being said, this is the Bears' victory for sure, and I can see the Bears winning the following week too as well on New Year's Eve against the Falcons again here. Again, the Atlanta Falcons were the best rushing team last year, and they got better this year, drafting Robinson from Texas. But running in their turf field, indoor climate, to coming to grass field in cold weather here in Chicago, different story, different scenario, different everything. I can see the Bears coming in with back-to-back wins, which is my 10-win season. But the Bears will be 10-8 because I can definitely see them losing the last game of the season and the first game of the new year against the Packers and being 10-8 or 10-7, whatever the record is, whatever 10-7. And that's how I have the Bears, 10-7. That's how I have the Chicago Bears at 10-7, guys, with a possibility of maybe winning the division. and I'm saying that very hesitantly, guys, because again, I have 3 games on this schedule that I'm 50-50. The Browns on the road, the Broncos here at home, and the Saints on the road. Those are my 3 games where I just don't know what I'm going to get from our Chicago Bears because they haven't addressed the defensive line front. And I'm going to repeat this week after week, month after month before the season starts up until it gets addressed. Now, the Jadeveon Clowney still out there. The dude from Cincinnati still out there. The rumors and reports on Chase Young is out there. If the Bears are going to trade for him, like there's opportunities there for the Chicago Bears to get a pass rush. It's just up to Ryan Poles for them to actually execute that for the Bears to, if they're really serious about maybe there's a possibility of going. Now again, he has said it time and time again. We are taking our time. We are building this slowly. We are going to do this on our pace and our time. And that's all fine and dandy. And that's what he's doing is he's giving himself time because he can extend Justin Fields, give him that option for next year. He can give Justin Fields possibly the franchise tag in 2 years without even giving him a contract, depending on what situation when the Bears are ready to compete, at least in Poles' eyes, ready to compete. He can do that. But for us as fans that we're doing this, I'm doing this, and I know damn well you guys are doing it too. That you can say some guys are saying 12-5. I'm saying 10-7. I've seen people like we're basically near the ballpark of the Bears being an above or below 500 team. But what we want is the improvement of Justin Fields in this offense. And I think everybody is right here on that point because we see the potential in Justin Fields. And I know we've had arguments. I know we've been on the show. I know Jose has been on the show that Justin Fields can be, and John too. Justin Fields can be the best, is or can be the best quarterback in this division. I just have to see it from the passing metric of this in order for me to believe that. As an athlete, I think by far none, Justin Fields is the best athlete in this division in the NFC North. By far, and there's nobody even close. We don't know what Jordan Love is going to be. So by default, it puts Jordan Love out of this conversation. We've seen Jared Goff be athletic enough, but he's not Justin Fields athletic. And we're talking about Kirk Cousins here. Kirk Cousins, who hasn't really done diddly, who can't move. So by a long stretch, Justin Fields is the best quarterback in this division by a country mile. But as a quarterback, I can rate him comfortably at number 3 because I've seen Kirk Cousins do it, even though I don't believe in him. Kirk Cousins just threw for 4,000 yards last season. Let's just put it. Let's be blunt here and honest. Kirk Cousins has thrown for 4,000 yards. We've seen Jared Goff done good things with the Detroit Lions so far, and plus he's been into a Super Bowl. Whether if you want to put this in his resume or in this conversation, cool, go right ahead. I'm okay with it. But we've seen Jared Goff literally compete in this NFL and has done an okay job. And I think he flirted with 4,000 yards this year. I don't have the stats in front of me. I'll look that up for the next podcast. But we haven't seen that in Justin Fields. So if the addition of Darnell Wright, with the addition of Nate Davis, with the addition of Tunyon, and the addition of DJ Moore, that opportunity is presented to him to be and to take over being the best quarterback in this division, but he has to prove it as a thrower first before I can say anything. Hey, look who decides to come up on the show. What's up, Johnny P? Johnny Parlay, guys. Jonathan, I'm not trying to toot his horn right now at the moment, but I am going to toot it just for a tad bit. John has been hitting his parlays, and this guy's been making bank. And as much as I agree with this one, Fields has a better chance of winning an MVP than Rodgers. Wait, I'm sorry. As much as I want to disagree with this one, it's not that it's right here. But I think given the situation of Aaron Rodgers being in New York and being in a new environment, and if honestly, if Aaron Rodgers can be that guy to take the Jets to the playoffs and come out of the AFC East, all Aaron Rodgers has to do is come out of the AFC East, and they're going to give him the MVP. That's all he has to do. That's it. Because in the AFC East, when you have the Buffalo Bills, when you still have the Miami Dolphins, and you still have to play Bill Belichick twice, just him being or him taking the Jets to the playoffs will be enough for Justin Fields. I mean, enough for Aaron Rodgers to win the MVP. I like it though. I like where you're going with this, John. I really do, and it's really not that hard to argue because it could possibly happen. Justin Fields, if he improves so much, he can be that guy. Duff, man, what's up, Duff? Duff over here. Let me see what he says. Duff says, if the Bears can continue to build the defense and offensive line through this offseason, the Bears should finish 11-6. Okay, cool. I got 10-7 and a division title, which I possibly can have depending on what the other teams look like because I haven't seen the other schedule. And possibly make it into the second round of the playoffs. Protect Fields and watch him make magic, especially with the weapons he has and his run game. The Bears! And Justin, we trust in. Bear down. I really read that, and that one just tickled me the way it shouldn't have. I mean, hey, look, I really do believe 11-6, 10-7 like me. Everybody probably has them at 9-8. You know, at worst 8-9, right? And that's okay to have that. And that's a decent record because that's an improvement from 3 wins. Hell, anything's an improvement from 3 wins. Hell, me and my bare minimum, right? Winning 4 games over exceeds my freaking expectations from last year. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like that, me at the bare minimum, I always say be better than last year. Hell, all you got to do is win 4 freaking games, and you're better, and you meet my expectations, right? But again, in this early of the season, where we predict where we're almighty Heidi, and honestly, we're just up here and in the clouds because of the offensive weapons that Justin Fields finally has. I think we're forgetting the fact that through the defensive line, there is no pass rush for the Chicago Bears, and it's going to make it difficult for the defensive line, for the cornerbacks, for the safeties, and obviously damn well for the linebackers. If there's no pressure coming through the defensive line, it's going to be like last year, where most of the games the Bears are going to get blown out or are going to be in tight games and have to find a way to make a stop for this for Justin Fields and this new offense, because we're going to call it like this. Justin Fields and his new offense, even though it's only been just 4 upgrades, we're going to have to see that if Justin Fields can do this. And I think that's going to be the problem for the Chicago Bears, that if we're going to put this much pressure on the kid, and how much of it is going to be that, damn, imagine if we, that's the one thing I don't want the Bears to come into the season to where, like, the Bears are having this great offensive season, but defensively they can't stop anybody. And this is why they're losing games. This is why I have 3 games on the schedule where I'm 50-50 because of that reason only. So it's like, it's going to be difficult for me to go above that. John goes and says, yeah, we had a trend lately. Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl in his first year with his team. Then Stafford does it with the Rams, the first team. Will Rodgers do it? It's again, what's the Lions and the Jets probably have been the most sexiest pick so far this offseason. Simply because the Eagles may have a Super Bowl hangover, even though I do believe the Eagles are probably the best team in the NFC conference, right? With the news that we seen the other day about Brock Purdy coming in and being that guy, sorry, the light on my camera was bothering me, and I'm starting to see little rings around my eyes. Brock Purdy coming back for the Niners can make a difference. Like, you've seen that dude went 6-0. He got hurt. He took the 49ers. So that's possibly, that could also be a reason why, the Lions have been a sexy pick, because we didn't know what the 49ers were going to be coming into the season, because Brock Purdy may have not thrown the football this early as it was. But now that I know that the 49ers are coming back and they finally got their quarterback, and we've seen what Kyle Shanahan has done, I think that flame or that fuel that the Lions have will start to simmer down just a little bit. Um, Duffman goes says, honestly, give me 500 or above. I think that's reasonable. I honestly believe that is reasonable for the Bears. Hell, to me, Duff, if they flirt with 500, I am okay. Whether if it's 8-9 or 9-8, give me that and I'll be okay than that. Josh goes, Jonathan Pelayo possibly now would make it interesting if Aaron Jones comes to New York and reunite with Aaron Rodgers. He did say it. I got the text to prove it too as well. I told y'all Nuggets and Joker with a triple double. I can see that too. Duffman, and we need to be able to control the clock with offense because we end up losing at the end because of the defense spends way too much on the field that they are drained and the opponents take advantage. We need more offense time control. Yes and no, because I could say the same thing about the defense giving the ball to Justin Fields for that to happen. Right, I can definitely argue that one, Duffman. You're right on that part, but also the defense has to do their part too. How many 3-and-outs that they really? How many 3-and-outs that the Bears really need to get? Right, field advantage is a big important thing in football. Like everybody talks about cutting the field in half and getting the ball at a favorable position for their field instead of starting at their own 5, start at their own 35 or 45. You know what I mean? Make them. That's where having the defensive front for the to help the offense to either A, give that time control, or B, put points on the board. It's one of those two things that the Bears need really to do. You could say offensive control or offensive time control, great, but I can argue, what about the defensive pressure? What about the team? What about the defense putting the pressure off the offense so the offense can control and have their rhythm and go down the field and score, or have a short field to go down that short field and get points, whether if it's 7 or 3, and the defense can still put that front, right? Because I can tell you the same thing. The defense, if they don't put no pressure on the quarterback and they can do whatever they want, the pressure is still going to be on that offense to score those points because the defense is not going to be able to stop them. So again, it goes both ways, Duff. And I get what you're trying to say, and you're right on that part too. But with no pass rush, what difference does it make if the defense can't stop them? And that's why we need somebody there better. No bias aside, Fields is better than Hurts. I have to see it. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. I don't, because Jalen Hurts has proven in the Super Bowl he can go toe to toe with the best quarterback in the NFL. Hell, he almost damn well won the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. He can show that Jalen Hurts, can throw the football better than Justin Fields. Granted, you can say he has the weapons in Philly to do it. That's fine. But they got him the weapons. And Jalen Hurts proved that he can be that quarterback. He's as athletic as Justin Fields. He's athletic enough to move around. He's athletic enough to run. He's athletic enough to throw. You may say hashtag no bias, but that's definitely some bias behind that, because I can guarantee you that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback right now at this moment than Justin Fields, because Jalen Hurts literally almost won the Super Bowl by himself this past Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. He meant Devontae Adams, not Jones. And John says, I have more 3-up, 3-down innings than the Bears have 3 on 6. Ask my boy Duff about me. I mean, hey, 3-and-outs. I mean, that's going to be a key too as well. It's a thing. It's a thing. I mean, I went an hour talking about the Bears schedule, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do that. I thought I was going to be quick in this one, but I guess I know I could talk my ass off. Hurts is what Goff was when he took. Nope. Sorry. No. I didn't even have to finish that one. Now you're trying to be Johnny Blasphemy. You really are. But hell no. Nope. I don't believe it. Again, Jalen Hurts went toe-to-toe with the best quarterback in the game against the best team in the game. Jared Goff barely, I think, only scored like 7 points, 3 points, 6 points. It was only field goals. No, hell no, John. This is nope, nope, nope. You were fine. You were fine up until that. Nope. Yep. Definitely enter the chat. So again, I want to know what you guys think. I got 10-7 for the Bears in my early predictions for the Bears record so far this season. Duffman says, "Don't talk about the Super Bowl because Hurts and the Eagles should be champs." Robbed. I said what I said. I don't know, Duff. I don't know. Maybe. I the Chiefs were a better team, though. The Chiefs were a better team, Duff. I'm sorry. I get, and I know where you're going with this, but I'm sorry, but I do believe that the Chiefs were a better team, and the better team did win the Super Bowl this past season. The JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Guys, make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and also on TikTok, where we give you guys our sports knowledge of the day too as well. Real quick, John said Justin Fields. Justin Fields odds are crazy. I think they're at 14-1. They are plus 1,400. So if you put in $100, Justin Fields, you win $1,400. I think he is number 8 or 9 on the MVP list of the quarterbacks this season, or just MVP overall. I believe this is too much hype on what the Bears offensively, what they can do. I feel like this is not a good thing for the Chicago Bears, simply because now it's going to be the pressure of Justin Fields to perform because of these odds, right? And I feel like if they were just a little bit lower, I'm like, it would have been a little bit more reasonable. But them being this high up, or this, I guess, putting this much money on Justin Fields is what the bookies are really putting on. So this is that the fact that Justin Fields is this much close in being MVP. And I mean, it's decent odds. I mean, take a swing at it if you want. I mean, I like them too, but it's too much hype. I think it's too much hype for the Fields and the Bears. That gives me Bears playoffs. That gives me Bears division winners. That gives me Bears possibly second round, like Josh or Duff. I forget who it was that said that the Bears can make a playoff or push into the playoffs for this one. I do believe it. But it's too much. It's too much. It's too much hype. Too much hype. John Go says Mario sounds like the man. Sounds like a man who took the Eagles on the money line. He said, "Yeah, the Stripes were a better team." Give me the Bears with 11 wins, Kings of the North. That's a good one. Yeah, like I said, we're all in the same page. I think we're all right here in the same page. It's either, I mean, 11 wins may be a little too much. I can see it, though. I can see it. Like I said, I have 3 games that are 50-50 to me in my eyes, where the Bears can win or lose in that one. And I mean, and so far in those 50-50 games, I have them losing those 50-50 games just by a smidge. It's the Broncos here at home, the Saints on the road, and also the Cleveland Browns on the road. But that's just different situations because of what the defense have shown me, or what Ryan Poles have done with the defense. So we have that. Another topic I want to get to, guys, real quick before I wrap up the show and give you guys the toast of the night. The Bears, rumor about it that now the Bears are looking into Naperville instead of Arlington Heights. They'll talk about the Bears in Arlington Heights and going there to build a new stadium. Now Naperville comes up and being a contender, I guess you can say, in being the new home for the Chicago Bears and building a new stadium, right? And also, I think today too as well, there was a story out there about the Chicago Bears, to where maybe, just maybe, the mayor of Chicago may come up with something for the Chicago Bears to actually stay in Soldier Field or stay in downtown Chicago area. See, here's the thing. I this screams out 2013, 2012, 2014. I forget the years. But this reminds me of the Cubs crying wolf and leaving Wrigley for Rosemont, right? Again, this is just me. This is just me. But that's exactly how I see it. I honestly do see that this is like the Bears, like, oh, you know what? Like, hey, you're taxing us a lot more for Arlington Heights than what you're supposed to. We don't like it. So what we're doing is we're gonna get up and we're gonna move to Naperville, because Naperville has this this state or this land to as well. The tax is not that much, and yada yada yada. Now, do I want them to go to Naperville? No. Plain and simple. I think it's going to be hard to get out of Naperville, to be honest with you. I think the last time that I went to Naperville, isn't there expressway like kind of a little like you still have to like drive in a little bit more deep into Naperville in order for you to get into Naperville or something like that? Is that Naperville? I'm pretty sure. But regardless of the fact, Arlington Heights and the track and the racehorse, it's literally right off the expressway, so you could do a lot of things there. But again, this is the Bears playing their card of lower our taxes type of thing. Like, we won't come to if you don't do this, just like how the Cubs did it. Like, we will go to Rosemont if you guys don't let us remodel Wrigley Field or build or destroy Wrigley Field, do whatever you need to do for Wrigley Field to renovate Wrigley Field. This is exactly how I see it. Um, but even then, the mayor of Chicago. I'm trying to find that article real quick. But there was an article that posted up that the mayor of Chicago, the new mayor, Mayor Johnson, said that he probably has a better plan than what Lori Lightfoot has about the Bears staying in Chicago. And it was kind of interesting. I was reading upon it earlier. Damn, I just cannot find it for the life of me. Um, I don't know. At first, I wasn't that I wasn't that interested, anyways, in the Bears staying in Chicago. But after reading this article, which I'm trying to find for you guys, um, if I find it later, I'll share it on the post. I'll share it on my personal Facebook page if you guys don't follow me. I'll find it and show you guys about it, because I think it's very interesting that this one actually looks a little bit more better and has a better understanding that the Chicago Bears can stay in Chicago and do whatever they can. Remember, they had that opportunity back when they rebuilt it, when they remodeled the first place. There was a time where the Bears could have destroyed McCormick Place and the Wintrust Arena wasn't being built, and that could have been all the Chicago Bears. So again, it's something to where to sit back and say, like, I still want Arlington Heights. Don't get me wrong. I still want Arlington Heights. I think Arlington Heights, that place, is way better than what Naperville can provide, and honestly, what the city of Chicago can give to as well. Right, and I get it. The landscape, the scenery. I mean, Soldier Field on an outside view looks beautiful with Soldier Field right there by the lakefront. But to be honest, it's really not that great, guys. It's ass. Getting out of that stadium sucks, right? And if public transportation is perfect, but you can only fit so much, and the train route, from the Metro and the South Shore run different times because of the Chicago Bears, and I get that, but it's still a bitch getting out of Soldier Field if you're driving. Because I mean, hell, if you guys seen videos over the weekend of the Taylor Swift concert, they added an extra 10,000 people coming out of the stadium because obviously they had flooring seats and whatnot, but they had the extra amount of people, and there was people climbing off the bridge onto the bridge to get out of the stadium. So if you're doing that in Soldier Field, what makes you think that it's going to be a good idea for the Bears to stay in Chicago? But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe because it was Lightfoot talking about it, and I don't know. That probably that's the only reason why I really didn't believe most of the things, and obviously the design of the damn, like, of the stadium, what they were wanting them to do and stuff wasn't really realistic, because where would you get that space anyways, especially when you have the museums around, especially if the parking lot is not all that big. Like, it's just like, no. It didn't make sense at the time, but it is what it is. Wrapping it up, Duffman goes and says, I really like Fields, but he definitely has to prove himself in throwing game in order to be in MVP talks. He has the run game. He knows how to escape the pocket, but I need to see a major increase in the passing game and wins and leading the Bears into more victories to be, and I agree, Duffman, an MVP conversation. Damn, I took an hour and 10 minutes talking about the Chicago Bears. I didn't even get to the NBA playoffs. If the Heat don't win it today, Nuggets in 5. That's how I see it. You can't tell me otherwise. Even though, there's always a game 4 and they have another game on the road, I honestly feel like if the Heat needed to win this one, if they wanted to make it a 6 or 7 game series. But yeah, I don't see. I see the Nuggets in 5. Nuggets deserve it. Joker deserves it. Playing his ass off. Already got a triple double. Last time I checked, the Nuggets were up by like 10 or 11. I don't remember. Duffman goes. The Bears are definitely playing the bidding war now. But at this point, the Bears want free range and control of the land. Of course, design and structure. The Cubs succeeded and got to renovate the stadium and practically all of Wrigleyville the same. The Bears want the same. Of course, 100% Duff, 110%. It's not even Wrigleyville anymore. I call it Wrigley Corporation. I call it Wrigley Corp. That's what I call it. Yeah, Nuggets are up by 18. Yeah, I call it Wrigley Corp. It's not Wrigleyville anymore. But you're right. That's what the Cubs wanted to do in the first place, and they got it. And they did it, and it takes away the historic side um, of Wrigley, but it had to be done. It had to be done. Scoreboard now looks great, even though the rooftops kind of, whatever, but it is what it is. You couldn't do anything about it. And that was one of the things why Wrigley's also a historical landmark, so they really couldn't do anything outside of it. But they did do a nice job building the buildings around them with the DraftKings place right there too as well by the bleachers, right field bleachers. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's what the Bears want too as well. And whatever the design that they had in the beginning, where it's like a whole lot and hotels over here, and it's like a walking distance, and the dome, and this and that, and all this other thing right here that they want. I think that's what the Bears wanted to do, and which is a great idea. And it's like I said, it's an easy way to get out of Arlington Heights. The expressway is legit like right there. Like the stadium is like right here. Expressway is right there, and it's not that far. So yeah, it's Arlington Heights, guys. It's Arlington Heights. Unless if the Bears decide to get that lot that's right there where the Marianos was supposed to be at, and by Bush, they could take that and do whatever they want to do with it there, on the South Shore. Hell, I'm okay with that too as well. Having the Bears close to the hood, you know what I mean? Walking distance for some of my friends and family from there to watch the Bears game, but. There's an empty lot there if they want to build the stadium right there. The Marianos was supposed to be there like 10 years ago. And never had the South Chicago Bears. Hell yeah, Duff. I can see it now. I can see it now. Everybody going to Small World and making that walk from Small World all the way to the Bears game to the stadium simply because we can't. Even though that's still a long ass walk though. Kind of think about it. So maybe not Small World. Small World is not a good example, but even then, so hey, I'm cool with it. Yeah, but it's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna happen. We can only dream, right? But that's it. That's the show. Man, I've been an hour and 15 minutes. It's already 9:40. I gotta go spend time with my girl and my baby. So I'd like to thank everybody on this show to hop on. Duffman, Josh, John. How could I forget John? My bad, John. There you go. Walk from long cars. Yep. That's the one. That Roma's bar right there. That now that's a good walk to walk off the beer. Yep, that's the good one. And then on the way there, just get the McDonald's right there on Commercial, and then just, although it's gonna be a crazy walk. Go to South Shore. Whatever. There's ways. We can do it. But everybody, thank you, Duff, Josh, John, everybody liking us, everybody sharing the show. But guys, make sure you follow the Star 6 Media brand. Make sure you follow John Conavi Facebook page. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and also on TikTok. Guys, make sure you hit. I still got the hookup at the old Mickey D's. Must be nice. I wish I had a hookup at Mickey D's. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in, guys. We're going to be back on a weekly basis. I appreciate you guys so much for hopping on. Hey, we talked about the Bears and the Bears schedule for an hour and 15 minutes. I did it solo. I got them at 10-7 so far this early in the predictions. I'm going to give you my probably official right before the season starts. And I think I got one more schedule release in me, and then the last one will be it. So 10-7 so far. I don't know if it's going to change. It may or may not change. Who knows? But 10-7. Bears winning the North. That's just my bias talking in me. At worst, 8-9. That's just me. But again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms. Make sure you guys hit the bell on the John Conavi or the Star 6 Media page just to get notified when all our shows are live. Not just our show, the JCA Sports Podcast, but also EAFP, which will be back soon. 3 Up, 3 Down, Only Football with Kyle and Rick, and many, many more podcasts on here. Thank you guys for hopping on. We will be back next week with the whole crew. Up until then, damn, there's no Jose. Before I forget, toast of the night, right? Then my new segment before ending the show. Toast of the night. I got this Corona Seltzer Strawberry, the worst decision I ever made in my life in getting a drink. But I'd rather drink this than drink a Modelo, and I would not wake up with chorro. Sorry, I know TMI for that one, but I can't drink Modelo, guys. I'm sorry. It messes me up. I'd be going to war after I drink Modelo, okay? But I got this Corona Seltzer, guys. Make sure you Corona. Hopefully you sponsor me. You know, I got the Mexico jersey on, so hopefully the Mexican thing will work. But this is where I am. Toast of the night, Lionel Messi coming to Inter Miami, putting all our ticket sales up higher, thousands, hundreds of dollars. I am probably going to make my trip to go see a Messi here against the Chicago Fire in October. If anybody wants to join, if we want to make a trip, I say Coronas all day, baby. These are nasty, by the way. But again, I only picked it because it was either this or Modelo, and I don't want to drink the Modelo because I don't want to be going to war. But toast of the night to Lionel Messi. Again, nothing too serious about a 35-year-old coming in here, but it's Lionel Messi who's basically won everything and almost anything in the world of soccer, from the World Cup and all the little competitions in between, or not little, but all the competitions in between the World Cup and then. But yeah, raising ticket prices. That's how you do it. Anybody want to fill up a 58,000 seat October 7th? Come join me because I think that'll be great to go see Messi, one of the greats in the beautiful game of football. So, cheers, toast of the night to Messi. I'm throwing half of this away. This was disgusting. I'm never drinking that again. But thank you guys again, Duff, Josh, John, everybody for liking, showing, sharing. Thank you all very much for hopping on. We will see you guys next week. I'm going to finish the show, so I'm going to find a new way when I'm by myself to end the show, but I'm finishing the show like this. We will see you guys next week. See ya! This is what happens when you do the show by yourself and everything slacks. He said, let's go sit all the way up with God. Let's get it. All right, guys, I am definitely out. I'll see you guys later.